Hi, I'm James Lott Jr. Welcome to another edition of In Between the Pages with James Lott Jr. And I'm glad you're here with us. You know, we're home, we're quarantined, we're safer at home, whatever words you want to use. We're home. As I'm recording this, I am day 13. I have not left my compound. I've stayed within my yard and in my house. I have not gone anywhere. So in the meantime, I'm recording all these videos for you, to give you content and talk to people in the various industries that I work in and what they're doing. Introduce you. This person I met as my waiter at a restaurant in Beverly Hills, and was so charismatic and so just so nice and did a good job as a waiter, that I became friends. We became friends, and we've been talking. And unfortunately, the situation in the world, we can't do this in person. But he agreed to come on here and do this with me. He studied at UCB. He's done a lot of stage work himself. Vincent Carubia is the website.com is the website. Skiptown Playhouse is his theater here in Los Angeles, and we're going to talk about that and what productions they put on. They had a play there that I love that was there. It was a spelling bee one I loved. But I've seen elsewhere, but I wanted to see it at yours. I get to see it. I was in town. So let me just introduce you to him. Vincent Carubia, how are you?
Hello. How are you?
Did I say your last name correctly?
Yes, actually, you did.
I'm glad. I'm glad. No, because you are Italian, right?
Yes.
That's what I thought. It's a very, very Italian name, like very Italian name. So,
Wasn't born there, but yeah, Italian American.
Of Italian man of Italian descent, yes, of course. Well, hello. How are you, sir?
You know, I'm doing as good as I can right now, given the
So
circumstances.
what are you up to? What are you up to as you're homebound?
Wow. I didn't realize how much of an introvert I really am, because I'm actually like in my element right now. I'm like, okay, cool, no people, fine.
Yeah.
It's funny because like normally I deal with so many people on a daily basis. It's crazy. So it's like I'm like people. So I think this is like kind of the universe's way of giving me a break. But I'm trying to find the light in all of this craziness. So I finished a screenplay that I've been working on for a really long time. I am halfway done with a book that I've been working on for probably 10 years, and I'm halfway through with that. My sister's doing some editing for me, so she's going through the chapters and then figuring out things that can be tweaked. So I'm hoping that will be done by the end of the week. So that'll be two things off of my list of things that I have just not been able to get to because I'm running a theater, I'm working at a restaurant, I work for a distribution company. So it's just been very hard to kind of balance my own my own creative passions versus the things that I'm doing for other necessities, needs, paying bills, and, running my theater and helping other people get their shows and their dreams and passions up. So it's a nice break from that. So I'm trying to find, like I said, the light in all of this and just stay creative and keep myself busy.
Well, you've mentioned two things that I want to talk about right off the bat. One, congratulations. I think I tell people, the folks who say they're really busy and can't get to certain projects, now is your time to do it. I feel like that's one of the lights. It's like now you actually have the time. If you feel, obviously you're creating, so if you feel the creative juices flowing, that's when you do it. But like, if you have the time now's the time to bring that out. And I finished a couple of books that I was writing that I was just kind of like almost there, and I couldn't get there because I was working, because you're physically out the house, you're physically somewhere doing something. But now we're here. We're kind of here, not physically doing something outside the house. So I think congratulations to you on that. It's a great thing. And there are two projects now you'll have done, sense of accomplishment, things for the future. It's things for the future, and I can do whatever you want with them. That'd be really nice, and add that to your repertoire. And so I think for people out there, you're a good example of just, taking the time. Okay, well, now I can finish that thing that was 10 years long.
Yeah.
But it's funny. You don't really realize how time flies. I've been working on a play myself for the last 5 years that I just little by little have been working on. You don't, time goes by fast. It really does. You don't know. You do a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, and then life just kind of gets in the way, and then it's August.
And my book that I'm in the process of finishing right now, somebody asked me, they were like, oh, how long have you been working on it? And I was about to say like 3-4 years. And I was like, wait, this stemmed from a research paper that I did in my world mythology class in college, which is beyond a decade ago. So I was like, that inspired a short script, which inspired a longer short story. And then it kind of evolved, and then I had some dreams. I get very inspired by dreams I have, and I incorporate them into my stories. So I had some dreams that I thought, that is supposed to be in this book. So I kind of went back and then started doing a whole new outline. And I would kind of write on it like every 2 years. I would like do a little bit, and then I would stop. And then I would do a little bit more, and then I would stop. And then I was just like, okay, I'm here for a month. Like, let's get this done. Let's just get down to it. So no distractions except Instagram and my Facebook. So I set a very strict schedule for myself, like from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. phone off, computer is just for writing, and that's it. And just no distractions for those 5 hours. And then after that, it's, I can kind of go on with my day.
That's very good. I think it's really great. So folks out there, if you have something you want to work on, I just started painting again. I hadn't painted in like 3 years, and I had a piece of something I was working on 3 years ago that I decided to pull back out of the archives and continue it. So I thought, why not? I'll see. I mean, now I'm in a different space than I was 3 years ago. I'm inspired by dreams too. I dream words, I dream phrases. I'm a songwriter and a writer myself. So I'll dream a phrase and I go, okay, I wake up and I'm like, either I'll sing it on my phone or I'll write it down. I go, okay. I'm like, okay, got it. And then I write down, and later I don't know what it means sometimes. So I have this one, I can tell you this. I have this, and I don't mind sharing this with people, but I have this one thing I dreamt. I dreamt the words depressed horse. So I don't know what that means yet, but it's really resonating with me. Like, I can't not think about it. Like, it's just depressed horse. I have no idea what that means. I don't know if it's a song. I don't, because I do so many different things. So I don't know if it's a song. Is it a play title? Is it a story? Is it a short story? Is it a painting? I have no idea. But it's so strong. I've had it for about 5 months. It's just stuck with me.
Yeah.
So
maybe you need to paint a picture of a sad horse.
It could be just as simple as that, right? It could be as literally.
Maybe there's a sad horse out there that's just waiting for you to bring it a carrot. I don't know.
I like that. But I mean, are your dreams literal, or are your dreams that literal, or are they esoteric? I mean,
oh yeah, I had a dream right after my grandfather passed away. He came to me and he gave me a dollar bill, and I didn't understand why. And then we ended up at this patch of orange roses, and he told me to be passionate. And I didn't know what that meant until the next day. I woke up and I was talking to my sister and my mom, and then it came to me, oh, when we were kids, he used to, every time we would go to my grandparents' house, he would give me $1. And I would go up to him and I would ask for $1, and he would give me $1. And they always had really different colored roses in the backyard. So he was very big into gardening. So yeah, it's one of those things that, he always lived in his passion. He was a tailor, and he was very passionate about what he did. He came to America. He gave my family opportunity here. And so he is really kind of my inspiration, I guess, because that's just what he did. That's what he stood for, was just living in your passion and just doing what you set out to do.
So let's do the chicken and egg thing. So, like, what came first? So did you start doing, you start doing stage work as a stage person first, an actor first, and then writing, and then owning? I mean, what came first for you?
When I always loved to sing since I was very, very young. I mean, everybody who you hear who's done it will always say that. But I remember singing to like Little Shop of Horrors, and it just was like always a passion of mine, that movie. And then when I was 11, I saw my cousin in a stage musical. And then I told my mom, like, I want to do that. So then I started stage theater. When I got out of high school, well, let me backtrack. As I got through like many years of community theater, I started doing home videos with friends in the neighborhood, and I would film them, and I would after many years of stage theater, then I started filming stuff with like a lot of neighborhood friends, and I would write and edit my own content from home. I learned actually how to edit it using VHS to VHS. My dad taught me because he used to do
Wow.
wedding videos. So
Yeah.
with the dials, and that's how I
Yeah.
started editing. And everybody in English class always wanted to be on my group, like in my group for like the, oh yeah, we just read Midsummer Night's Dream. You got to do like a scene from it, and you have to act it out. And I always would like make the most elaborate things. It was like a full production. Yeah. And then from there, that's when my passion for film really started. And when I graduated from high school, I got a scholarship to Savannah College of Art and Design because for some projects that I edited that I sent to them. And I decided to major in film and television. And I minored in performing arts because I took a couple electives. I was required to audition for the plays there. And I really didn't want to get back into theater. I wanted to focus on film, but because I was required to audition, I went to the audition and I ended up landing a role. And I became very good friends with the director, and then he cast me in a few things, one being the Rocky Horror Show Live in Savannah, Georgia, where we won Best Show of Savannah in 2007, I believe.
Love Savannah.
And I played Brad Majors, and it was really fun. So that's like one of my favorite shows that's my favorite show that I've ever done.
Okay.
Was Rocky Horror Show.
Great show, love Rocky Horror. Love it.
Yeah. So, which you can't get the rights to do it in California. It sucks. I applied for it.
Oh,
like
really?
3 times. Yeah, you can't. So I tried. And then from there, I came out to LA with my film degree, and I started doing independent films and commercial competitions. And then this theater fell into my lap, and now I run a theater business, and I still do my own scripts, and I'm trying to get one of my scripts funded right now. So yeah,
So let's break that down for a second. So you were a performer first, basically. You're a performer first.
I was a performer first.
And then, but it seems like you also knew that you wanted to learn all the different things that go on in the surrounding that, writing and editing and,
Yeah.
So you did all.
I just wanted things to exist. So I did what I had to do to make them exist. And that was just my whole reason.
Is that your personality in general, you think?
Yeah, my quote, and you'll see it if you go to my website, my quote is it's like when people ask you if you could give them any one piece of advice, mine is be ready to create your own yeses, because you're going to get a lot of no's. So that's just something that I live by. So when people tell me no, I go, okay, it's no from you, but it's yes from somebody down the road. Doesn't matter who. There's a yes out there for everybody, even if you have to create it yourself. So that's just something to keep in mind, because your destiny and your reason for being is not defined by someone else's opinion of you, or, whether they think you're right for it or wrong for it. It's what you do with that.
You just created our title of the episode. Love it. Be ready to create your own yeses. I love that. I love it. I do. I love that. Because I live by the same thing, kind of. I do. I always say, if you don't see it, be it. So I'm a person who decides to create the books I want to read. I'm writing the music and hearing music that I want to listen to. Like that's kind of how I am.
From Rocky Horror? No, that's Don't Dream It, Be It.
Don't Dream It, yes. So it's similar. It's like
it goes in line with it. Don't dream it, be it. Yeah.
Right. So it's like, it's very similar. And I love this whole thing of like you being in control. Because this business, as you and I both know, you're not in control. Everybody else is doing their things. And you may not get a part for not because of you. It could be because the babysitter dated his cousin or something. You never know what can happen. In this
it's a lot of who knows who. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the things, a lot of the great opportunities that I've come across have been because of, putting myself out there and networking and going to events. And when people invite you, show up. And it's just like things like that. People remember those things, and people, when you work with people over and over again, there's that camaraderie that you build, and people go, oh, I want to work with Vince again, or I want to work with, James again. And then, geez, I'm like blowing up in every direction.
I'm like, you go, hey.
I know. I'm like,
this is real life, folks. Mm-hmm. So you got it with me, and all of a sudden they want to talk to you. Of course, that's good. I brought it for you. It's like, here you go.
I
Like,
know.
that's good. That's good. That's good news.
No, it's a group text. That's why.
Everybody's answering the thing. Yes.
Yeah. So it was like 15 people.
Yeah.
Um,
I love it. This is life at home, folks. This is life at home. I leave all the stuff in there. I love it. It's life at home.
yeah.
This is our temporary normal. I call it, not our new normal. Our temporary normal right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that's very cool. No, I'm a big proponent of just like, you know, if you have the desire to do it, then write that script, write that part, you know, sing that song, whatever. You just do it now, and that's happening to me. And so I believe in that. So okay, so you did that. Now, what kind of writer are you? Like, what do you think what are you writing? I'm not giving stuff away when you're going to give it away to someone. What kind of writer are you?
I love musical comedy. Sometimes my stuff tends to be a little bit on the darker fantasy side, adventure. Let's see. I also really like. It's so funny. I was never big on sci-fi growing up, like at all, 0%. I was not a big sci-fi person. But I wrote a series, and it's sci-fi. It's a sci-fi adventure, and it is a love story, but it's a sci-fi adventure, and I was inspired to do this because of some dreams I had, and I wrote them down, and then I ended up filming them, which was really awesome. So it was kind of surreal to like see or relive a dream from your mind, or like see your dream become, you know, a reality.
Yeah.
So I pay very close attention to my dreams. I listen to them all the time, and I'm like I don't know if you are a message, if you're advice, if you are a scene from my next script, if you like a chapter in my next book. I don't know what you are, but you mean something, and you're trying to tell me something. So I try to pay close attention. But yeah, I wrote a sci-fi series that I'm also trying to continue on with. I want to pitch it to some networks. I did a 3-episode pilot test, and we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, it's a really
Sci-fi is good. I'm co-writing a sci-fi book right now myself, the first time. I love sci-fi. So I grew up with like Ray Bradbury, Isaac Asimov. I mean, I grew up with all the sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, I don't know who any of those people are.
You know, people are. They're famous. We just know they're famous in the sci-fi world.
They sound important. So
yeah, I'll tell you. Ray Bradbury, great name. Yes. Martian Chronicles. That's what they always say. So I grew up with sci-fi books, and then of course Star Wars, that whole stuff, and Star Trek. But I never thought I would be a writer of either of that kind of genre. I write a lot of mystery and drama, family drama. I do that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I found a co-writer, and we're co-writing a book together, and it's called The Planet. It's basically it's space. And I do some research. And I do like some research on NASA. Like we're like doing all these kind of things to make sure it's accurate.
Man, I know that.
You know how it is. Like, what does that mean when they take off in space? What actually happens? You want to make sure it's realistic. You know, they want to add your own dramatic license.
Like the fantasy adventure, so it's a little bit more. I think you can bend a little bit more because it's not that realistic fantasy like sci-fi. Like, you know, what are some of those like Gravity or that other movie with Amy Adams?
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Why can't I think of the name of it?
Guess you woke up. Yeah, I can't remember that. I can't think of it either right now.
Yeah.
It was good. Yes.
Like it's not like it's not so real.
Yes.
It's left a lot to the imagination. It's more of the ride you're on than it is the information you're getting.
Yeah.
So I get to have a little bit of fun with it, and there's a little bit of a relaxed nature behind it, while I'm still, you know, talking to people that are a little bit more inclined in the areas of science than I am, so I can kind of make things at least sound like they make some sense. You
want to make it. Well, folks, I mean, sci-fi community is a big community. They do look for stuff. I mean, they do
exactly.
They nitpick things.
You're gonna write that shit. You don't want to disappoint.
Yes, exactly. I love that.
Because you can very easily pull a big following.
Yeah, you can.
Now, whether that following is haters or they like you.
Very true.
But I try to have fun with what I write and keep it colorful. And it started out as a comedy, the sci-fi series, but then through the editing process, it seemed like it was trying to be funny, but then it was also dark and kind of mysterious. So I got to figure out exactly which solid direction I want to go with it, because it could very well play either way. But I'm just going to have fun with it and just see what comes out. And that's one of the things on my list to do during this quarantine, is to create an outline for that show,
Very good.
a solid one. It's a little loose right now, and I just need to work on it a bit.
There is a sci-fi series out right now that's comedy called Avenue 5. I don't know if you've seen it. It's on HBO or Showtime, one of the two. And I caught the first couple of episodes. It's interesting. It's the same people who did Veep, which I loved Veep. Veep was my show. And it's a sci-fi series, and it's a half-hour comedy, and it's actually really funny. A lot of characters, very funny. Make sure I mention that. Okay, so now this stuff's going on. You're a performer, you're writing, but now you have a theater, Skiptown Playhouse here in Los Angeles. How did that happen?
Found it on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking for a gig, and I went onto I don't even remember what page it was, Actors in LA, maybe,
Okay.
or Filmmakers LA, something like that. And I went to the page, and I was scrolling, gonna apply for some like production gigs. I don't even remember what position I was looking to do. I think at the time I was like, anything to just like be in my passion and not be waiting tables, which I love my job, at Cheesecake. Right. But, I want to, do what I set out here to do. Yeah. Why am I so far away from my family?
Right.
To be doing, what I came here for. So I was looking for some gigs, and I scrolled down, and then I saw these really nice red seats, and it said theater for rent. And I thought, that just looks cool. I'm just going to click and look at the pictures, because maybe it might be a location that I'll want to use in the future. And I clicked on it, and I'm scrolling through it. I'm looking at all the pictures, and it just seems really interesting. And at the time, I have a friend who has ran a couple theaters before. And so I reached out to her, and I said, like, hey, this theater's for rent. Do you want to take a look at it? She was like, yeah, let's go. Let's take a look. So I was like, all right, cool. So I'm thinking like, all right, I'm going to show it to her, because she's rented theaters, and she'll probably know what to do with this, and she'll run with it, I'm sure. So it comes to the day to look at the theater, and I call her, and she's like, oh, you know what? I'm just not really feeling up to it today. If you want to go take some pictures, have a good time. And I was just like, okay. I was like, all right, well, are you still interested in doing this? And she was like, oh, I was just going for moral support for you. I'm in no way interested in renting a theater at this time. I've done it twice. I've done it. I'm not looking to do it again right now. It's just a huge commitment. And I was just like, okay. So I decided to go anyway, regardless, and just take pictures. And then I'm talking to my now landlord, and just from the minute I set foot in the place, I said, this is something that I need to do, because I feel like this will open up a lot of opportunities for me. So I did it, and I found two partners that I thought would, be a really big help in getting the process started. And they've been with me for the last 2 years, and we're still in business, and we're still doing it. I mean, this has really hurt us, but we'll get through it. I mean, we've had many hurdles in this whole 2 years of running a theater business, and it's been a huge learning experience, because I've never managed or run or operated a theater before. So to have this huge, responsibility and position like overnight was life-changing, and in the way that I saw things, in the way that I composed myself and held myself accountable for things, and just took more responsibility. It just, my whole life changed, and I'm really grateful for it.
What is the mission of the theater for you? What is the mission of it?
Especially like in times like this, I mean, just to be able to have a space that can create a space where people feel like they belong, and they can speak, and they can say something. We have open mics twice a week. I've produced 2 musicals there. We have our international film festival. I get films from all over the world. And I go through the trailers, and I look at the trailers. If I like it, I send them a free waiver, because I just want as many people to be involved in what we have as possible. And there's so many people that come into my space and they go, when I walk in here, it's a different vibe than anywhere else. I don't know what it is, but whatever you guys are doing, is right. And that to me speaks volumes. I know that I'm, creating something where people feel welcome and a part. So LA is tough when it comes to the acting community. And I just feel like what we have is very unique. And I don't know if I'm exactly answering your question, but
You're answering my question. No, you're answering it. And the thing. So basically, it's a space of inclusion. It's like that's your mission. Your mission is like, if you have something to say, possibly we are a space for you to say it. And that could be, I guess, obviously open mic, one-off productions, probably all kind of long runs, short runs, a little bit of everything.
Usually like 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, and they usually run on weekends, but we keep it rather small, like with set, so that the other things can still operate around it throughout the week, like our open mics and the one-off comedy shows. We have a drag night that had just started before this whole thing happened. We were supposed to have a drag night on March 14th that we had to cancel. Oh, no, March 18th that we had to cancel. And we pushed it to April 1st and we had to cancel it again. So that was only our third one. And it was turning out to be a really cool event. And we're also in the process right now of getting our liquor license so that, we can, when people come to see shows, they can get a beer or a glass of wine. And that to me will like be a game changer too for our business. And what we're able to do there, just create just more opportunities for people to just celebrate art.
Okay, so you are a small theater. Are you 99 seats, 49 seats? How many seats are you?
36.
36, okay, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Good size, I think it's good size.
Yeah, but they're 36 very comfortable red velvet seats.
Those seats, you're like, I got the seats. I love that.
Yeah, the seats sold me.
Yeah. I love small theater, like the Greenway Arts Theater is small, and my friend over at Odyssey Theater, they have small theater. Our friend Mark J. Freeman, who runs that place, and there's a lot of small, interesting theaters all over Los Angeles and Hollywood and East Hollywood and South LA. They're all over the place. I love them. I love this small one.
I never knew I wanted to do something like this, to run a theater. I just wanted to be, I always wanted to be on Broadway as a kid, but and that's where everybody said that they saw me ending up on Broadway. And it's not to say that that's not in the future.
Right. But, it's going to happen.
But I've taken such a huge leap back from stage that to get back in it, I would have to really get back into training again and into dancing and into vocal workshops and into, everything just to get even up to par with the people that are on stage. But now that I have this 36 seat theater, I'm like, okay, well, I kind of want a bigger theater, I want a 50 seat theater or a 99 seat theater. And I want to design the stage and I want to create the vision. I want to design how it looks. This one was given to me by God, literally no other reason for it. Yeah. But it opened up a lot of things in my mind to possibilities. So that being said, I just don't, want to jump the gun or I want to know that I'm ready for bigger. And I feel like this is a really great place that I'm in right now, is what I have. And just take that and work with that. And if the time comes down the road to have something bigger and it's meant for me, it'll happen.
Yeah. So you've become a businessman, basically. So you become an entrepreneur. You're a businessman.
Yes, I was kind of business minded beforehand. I was always very independent. I don't really depend on my parents for too much, because I know that if I ever needed something or was in a bind, they would be there for me. But I always try to handle everything on my own, because that's just the person I am.
Yeah.
But I've learned about taxes on my own. I learned about, business on my own. Everything I've learned from having to do it. And wanting to know how to do it, wanting to understand the process. And I feel like that's really important. And a lot of artists, I feel like, don't want to. And I feel like that's where a lot of them end up failing, which it's sad, because if they would just take the time to learn the business side as well, I feel like a lot of artists would be a lot more successful. Not to say that I'm like super successful, but I feel like it's important, and you should know business to a certain degree. And I started learning business when I started my LLC in 2014 for Skiptown Productions, my production company.
Yeah.
So that is kind of what started me knowing a little bit about how the business system works. So then when I started my partnership for Skiptown Playhouse, I was at least a little bit in the loop with how to do things, but it was still, a general partnership is way different than an LLC. And it was just like a whole different thing that I had to learn.
Yeah.
And then you're splitting between two people, and it's just like, how do things work, the logistics of everything. But yeah, I mean, like anything, you have a task and you just have to figure out what do you need to know, and then just educate yourself.
You mentioned something about people saying that the vibe at your place, the energy at Skiptown is it's just very unique. I'm not surprised. Every time I talk to you online or whatever, you're always very friendly, always very open. You seem like a person who's very present, just in life in general. A lot of people walk around not present in their lives, and I see the difference. And I feel like you're kind of like that, so it starts from the top. So I'm not surprised people like walking into your space. Would not be surprised. So I just wanted to say that to you. So I mean, okay. So tell us one thing that people may not know about when it comes to producing a production. I think people just think, oh, I'll put a stage, I'll take this play and I'll write this musical and I'll put it together and hire some actors and put it on. But what is like one thing people don't know about that you really have to know about before you even do that?
How to make lists and delegate. People, I feel like, I mean, I still run into problems where I just don't delegate enough. I always feel like it's one of my flaws, where I need to be in control of a lot of things. But at the same time, I've started to become really accustomed to just partnering up and working with people, and really utilizing people to their strengths, and learning to take a backseat in certain things and let the process happen, and trust the process and trust the people that you're working with, because they said yes to work with you. So you have to remember that these people believe in what you're doing and what you're saying. So I feel like that's a huge thing that a lot of people that try to do things, especially when they're beginning, even me when I was beginning, they forget that, it takes a team, an army, behind you. And yeah, like I said, making lists and checking them off, and knowing like, I need this done. Okay. This person can do this person can do this. I'll tackle these 2 or 3 things, or 20.
Yeah, or 100 or 100. Yeah,
or 100.
Yeah.
And everything, let's see, another misconception is that everything will go according to plan.
Yeah, I know that. I know as a business owner, I know that one already, just period.
Yeah.
Best laid plans,
You always have to know that. I mean, even when it comes to writing a script, or producing a film, there's the idea, then there's what you write on paper, then there's what you film, and then there's what you edit. So by the time a film is completed, you've created 4 completely different projects. So you have to be ready for the hurdles and the bumps, and knowing that, it's not going to be perfect every second of the way, and you can't beat yourself up.
You can't. That's good advice. You can't.
You can be your own worst enemy real quick doing anything.
Yes.
So
I agree with that. What does Skiptown mean? Where'd that come from?
It's so funny. Like, it started when I was in college, and I did my senior thesis film, which was called Game Show. It was a 25-minute short film about a girl trying to go to college and making money. And I was trying to come up with the name of my production company, and I was like, what would I want to be called? And I started throwing around all these names, and then One of my favorite movies of all time is Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
Oh, okay.
and the maroon cartoons and like that whole like
Okay.
colorful comedy, slapstick. So I was like, I want something that sounds fun and adventurous.
Mhm.
And so I don't know, Skiptown came to mind, and I was like, Skiptown sounds like, just such a colorful, fun, adventurous name. I was like, I'm just gonna run with that. So I became Skiptown Productions, and then I became official in 2014. But I had created a lot of films under the name Skiptown Productions before actually making it an official
Yeah,
LLC.
yeah.
So that's where it came from. It came from just me being on my own adventure, leaving New Jersey to go to college in Georgia, and then traveling across country with my dog in a U-Haul to come to LA and just, you know, skipping town. I don't know.
You're skipping around. You're skipping around the country.
Skipping
That's
around.
what you're doing.
Skipping,
Skipping.
skipping around the whole damn country. Yeah.
What
So
what is what is one thing about New Jersey that you miss out here in California?
well, my family. I mean, that's an easy
Yeah,
one.
right.
The fall.
How far? Okay, because it's very nice back there. I know I'm from the East Coast, so I know the
One of
trees.
my favorite things was getting in the truck with my family and going to the cider mill and the pumpkin patch and just the Halloween air. It's just like something that you cannot get here.
Yeah,
Like
you can't. You
you,
can't.
you can't. The
Yeah.
closest that I've ever seen to like fall here was up in Idlewild. I went up there
Oh,
and shot a
okay.
film in October, and the leaves were on the ground. It was very like woody, and it just reminded me a lot of the mountains in New Jersey. So, um, to me, that was like the closest that you can get to it. Um, but yeah, hands down, Halloween, the fall.
What is one thing about Los Angeles that you actually like?
Oh, and Chinese food.
Oh, Chinese food. Okay.
You
Okay.
can't get Chinese food like New Jersey here in LA. It's terrible. Oh my God.
It's very different because I'm used to Chinese food from New York. It's very different than
Yeah.
Chinese food in LA. It is very. I will agree with you. It's
Oh
very
my God. The egg rolls in New Jersey are, every time I go home, I just have to like buy 10 egg rolls and just eat them in one sitting because you cannot get a freaking egg roll like that here. The egg rolls here are terrible.
very different here in
Oh
California.
my God.
Very different. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
But what about LA? What is one thing about LA that you're actually enjoying since you've been out here?
Oh my God. Every time I think about what I love in LA, it just reminds me of what I love about Jersey.
Oh, how funny! Oh, how
I
funny!
love thunderstorms too in New Jersey. You don't get thunderstorms
You don't
here.
get them here now.
Okay, but LA. Um, the thing I love about LA is that even though a lot of people are very, self-interested,
Yes.
so to speak, and materialistic,
Yes.
um, I'm just saying bad things.
I was like, "Where's
Hold
the
on,
good part?
hold
Where are you
on.
going with this?
It's going
Where's the
somewhere.
good
It's going
parts?"
somewhere. There is a sense of community that you get in LA because everybody is kind of after the same idea of what they're trying to do, that you can always find the person that you need to do this because they do that. I mean, it's just like it's so much easier to find the right people to work on the projects that you are working on because there's so many talented people here, just like at every turn, because everybody's trying to either be an actor or a director or a writer or an editor or a graphic designer or they're a fashion designer, and it's like everybody. So in that regard, it's just there's a sense of community here in the creative world that I feel like is kind of unmatched. Maybe New York you can get that, but that's more like the theater community
I was gonna say that's
and
where. Yeah.
commercial and theater, maybe some reality TV. But if you want to go like film and even fashion, I mean, yeah.
I,
What else
I
do I love about LA? I don't want to leave on that.
Yes. Okay. But
I want to say more.
as you're thinking about that, I mean, if there is everybody's kind of swimming upstream. Everybody's swimming upstream at the same time towards something. So that's kind of the common thread.
Yeah, we're all salmons here.
We're all salmon. We're all salmon. I'm a big salmon.
Salmons here.
We're all salmon.
Let's see.
you like the weather? Do you like the
Oh, I love the weather, yes, but like I said, I miss thunderstorms and I miss fall, so I need variety, but I don't miss the snow.
Okay.
That's coming from somebody who used to shovel driveways.
I don't miss the snow, so I don't miss the snow. Sorry, I like the first snow when it comes down and it's quiet, it's beautiful, and it's all white and fluffy. But dealing with like dirty snow later and all that stuff. Ugh.
I love the landscape and the views. Everything is beautiful to look at. Yeah. It's like everywhere you drive, it's like mountains and hills, and when you're going through the valley, it's just like the most beautiful views you can ever see. So, in that regard, it's just a gorgeous place to live. It really is.
It is.
And like I said, the community of people. Those are the two things that I feel like I take the most with me.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for being on the show, of course. That was already 45 minutes. Like, I don't know how that, I could talk to you, I don't know why that went by so fast. They went by so fast.
Yeah, it went by fast.
It went fast. But I do wish you the best of success. Of course, we're going to still be in touch, of course. And I eventually want to come in there and see the theater and do some stuff. And
yeah, I mean, I got to get through. We're going to be good getting through April. May is going to be tough. Sure. Because I won't be able to be open until May. Right now, it looks like May 1st, and they may even extend it to June. I have no idea.
I know, we have no idea.
So right now, I'm just like taking it day by day. I'm gonna try and get that grant and see if we can find some funding to get us through May. But we'll figure it out, and we'll come through. And
you will.
Yeah, I feel like that's, if there's one thing I can leave everybody with, it's, your health is not, there's no price tag on your health. So take care of yourself, self-quarantine, take this seriously. The more serious we take this, the quicker we can flatten the curve and get back to society and get back to creating and, being that public service that we're all meant to be. So we're doing nobody's service if we're sick or if we're dead. So let's come together and do our part.
If I had a bell, I'd ding it. Ding. I like that. Exactly. I agree with that completely.
I do have one. It's in my kitchen, though.
I have one over here. Off to the side. So tell people where they can find. In the meantime, where they can find. They can take a look at your theater and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So we're on Instagram at Skiptown Playhouse. We're online at skiptownplayhouse.com. You can find me at Vincent Carubia, just like that on Instagram. And then vincenzocarubia.com. On our Skiptown Playhouse website right now, you will see we have a film challenge going on for our film festival. It's a quarantine film challenge because we are public service. Our job is to continue creating regardless of whatever situation we're in. Tell us a little bit about, tell us a story. All the rules are on there. There's some guidelines, and you have until April 30th. There's a waiver code, so use that waiver code and submit your project to the Skiptown Playhouse International Film Festival. All of the selections will be screened in October at our festival. So we're looking forward to seeing what everybody creates, and you have a month. So,
what productions were going when you had to stop? Are they coming back?
Let's see. Actually, we had just finished a run of a show called Boxes.
Okay.
And we had some film shoots lined up and some drag nights lined up and our open mic nights. We had a few open mic nights and some classes. So all of that stuff got bumped, got postponed. Yeah. So we didn't have any productions get deterred, altered from that, which was, thank God. So nobody's production got
very good.
Scheduled. Okay,
good. So all that stuff will return. Once we get to that, it'll all return, and the drag nights.
Maybe I'll do a production in the fall. I'm writing an immersive theater show for the theater. Oh, wow. So that's going to be really fun, and I don't know when that'll be up, but I'm in the process of writing that, and that is one of the things on my list during this quarantine is to get the immersive theater show written so that we can have something really fun in the fall. For people to come and be a part of.
I love it. Thank you, Vincent, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. It was